and cold. So Rick, you just go turn the fan off. All that's happening here is we have outside air blowing in. Because rumor has it that if you have a room full of people breathing, you will suck all of the oxygen up in the room, and then those who have a tendency to fall asleep will. So we're just trying to get a little air in the room. There's really no heat or air conditioning, and that should warm the whole room up just a little bit. Other than that, think of sitting on the beach with the sun pounding down, or being in a desert, or a hot tub, or a sauna, and you'll warm up really quick. In the meantime, are you ready to be free? Yes. Then take a deep breath and we'll repeat our treatment for freedom together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I know our center's mortgages are paid in full, and I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With our hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. And we use our points of power. I always pay attention. I always tell the truth and tell it quickly. I always ask for what I want when I want it. I always take total responsibility for my experience. I always keep my agreements. And so it is. Wonderful, wonderful. Today the topic is joy. Joy, joy, joy. And I know that every day we say today is a happy day, and I love today is a happy day, and I love to be happy. Joy to me is just a little bit different. Most people look at happiness as contingent upon something. Something happens and you get happy. You get a new car and you get happy. You get a check in the mail and you're happy. Now here at Center for Spiritual Living, we have learned that our happiness is not contingent on anything outside of us, that we bring our happiness with us into the world. And as we bring our happiness into the world, we experience that happiness. Joy is the same way. Joy is what is called a verity of spirit. It's one of the eternal givens, the truths of our spiritual experience. Joy is always here. And that's something that's so important, because as we travel down this path of spirituality in life, we don't try to get things and bring them into our experience. We try to open up to a greater extent to that which already is. Even if you have a fever and you're sniffling and coughing, there is a health that is right there in the midst of it, that never changes. Even if you may be experiencing some kind of financial limitation, there is a wealth and prosperity and an abundance right where you are. And so rather than trying to make things happen on the outside, we open to that which already is. And then as we open to that, it shows up in our lives, collapsing into form. Thank you, Chris. It manifests as our experience. And so what we're talking about today is the eternal truth of our being, that is joy. It includes emotions, but it's not limited to our emotional state. It actually transcends emotions. It is the truth of our being that we are beings of joy. Is my microphone coming?
It's bubbling. It's bubbling.
I was on the stage for an hour yesterday morning, jumping up and down, running around this room, trying to make it cut out. Okay, turn me off so I have two on. Okay. So joy, no matter what is happening, is one of the highest things that we can do. When we embrace the natural state of joy in our lives, things happen. It says in, you'll love me for this, some of you, in Proverbs, a joyful heart is good medicine. That means that when we open up to joy, our bodies return to their natural state of health and wholeness. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you pull away from joy, do you notice that sometimes you get sick? Heck yeah, I was in the back. Yeah. That if you pull away from your natural state as God informed as you, an individualized expression of the divine, if you pull away from that, things go awry in our physical reality, whether it's our body or our money or our relationships. And when we pull away from that natural state that we are, we create the illusion of lack of joy in our lives. And so many people get caught up in this cycle that they don't realize that they've created it by what they've thought and felt. And then they see it in their life and they go, well, I can't be joy-filled, I can't be happy, I can't be okay. All these things are going wrong. Not realizing that the things are going wrong because they pulled away from their natural state. And so our job is to open up to the joy. Our job is to open up to that natural state that we always have been and always will be. And I assure you that our natural state is joy. Our job is to be blissed out. Our job is to jack happiness up onto steroids. Our job as spiritual beings, bringing enlightenment and peace to the planet, is to get it. That no matter what the experience is, the truth is joy. And people say, oh, well, Barbara, you don't know my story. I don't need to know your story. Everybody's story is the same. You're not special. Everybody's story is the same. Oh, I had this, I had that. Oh, my trauma is bigger than other people's trauma. No. Our job is to be in our joy no matter what. And so as we look at experiences in life, we can look at them and anchor them into our psyche and our experience, or we can look at them as what Ram Dass called grist for the mill, let it go, and stay in our joy. It's fascinating. I read a book, or I'm in the middle of reading a book to be perfectly honest, by the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And they spent a week together in India at the Dalai Lama's home away from home. And that was a joke, nobody got it. His ex-home in India, his home away from home. They spent a week talking about joy. And what they spoke about was that joy was so important, that joy is the highest level of spirituality you can achieve. So those of you who have a to-do list of enlightenment and spirituality, joy is at the top of it. And when you open up to joy, whether it's going out on a boat ride, whether it's kidding around with someone, whether it's just being happy and goofy in life, you are at the pinnacle of your spiritual experience. Oh my gosh. All of that meditation, I don't want to take it away from you. All of the yoga postures, I don't want to take it away from you. The diets and all of the processes. Goofing off is the highest level of spiritual accomplishment. One thing that I learned about the Dalai Lama that I had never heard before, the story that I like to say so much, is that when the reporter, many reporters have asked him this question, how can you be so happy when China took away your country? And he always says, China took my country, why should I give them my happiness? Why should I give them my joy? And in this week of honest communication between two old friends, two old souls together, he said, you know, I'm grateful that I have lived my life in exile. Those of you who want to look at Tibet as an awful thing, and the Chinese as terrible people, and the Dalai Lama as a victim, listen up. He said, I am grateful to have lived my life in exile. I never would have been able to do the things I have been able to do if I was still in Lhasa. If I was in Lhasa, I would be a figurehead. I wouldn't meet people, I wouldn't talk to people, I would not be able to travel the world. I would be a bird in a golden cage. That's what he said. He said, I am so grateful to have been kicked out of my country. He said, I don't condone it. You know, I don't thank the Chinese for taking over Tibet. I still want Tibet to be free. But I'm grateful for my experience in my life that this gave me. And I wonder how many times we look at circumstances in our lives and forget that there's a blessing in it and miss out on the joy. And in that, we flunk Spirituality 101. Every time we're angry, every time we're afraid, every time we worry, every time we feel better than or less than another person, we have failed on our spiritual path. Now I know there's no failure, there's nothing other than we're taking another step. But think about it, just because I'm such an achiever, I just appeal to that in you. If you really want to get this right, you have to be joyous. You have to have a smile on your face and laughter. You've got to be willing to take some shots by other people and not fall down. You've got to be willing to look beyond the immediacy of the circumstance and see the bigger picture. We're all spiritual beings on planet Earth. Everything is going fine. If you want to really get this spirituality thing down, you've got to be in your joy. And so what brings that about in you? I know that for me, when I miss out on my joy, when I distance myself from my joy is always present. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere, always present all the time. My joy is always right here. But when I shut down from my joy, it's usually because I am in a previous moment or a future concern. I'm never in the now and not be joy-filled. If you go into the now moment, you've got peace and love and joy right here. But then we step out of the now moment and we go, well, look at this terrible thing that happened to me, and I've defined my whole story about my life according to this one event. And I'll hold on to that event come hell or high water. Well, then I get no joy. If I can look at these circumstances in the past and let them go, whatever that means to you, through forgiveness, through changing your perspective, like the Dalai Lama, saying, I am so grateful to live in exile from my country. If we can change the way we see things, if we can forgive those fictitious people in our mind who we believe have done us or others wrong. Sometimes we go around the world looking for injustices so that we can feel better than. Oh, did you hear what's happening over in so-and-so? It's so awful. I am so much better than that. Well, actually, we are that because there's only one. And so when we move into separation and judgment and distance ourselves from our joy, we do not help. Desmond Tutu, during apartheid, kidded around. He said he would go to these events where they have mass burials, that this was the only time that people were allowed to gather. The police were surrounding it. The police had killed the people that were being buried, and the tension was so thick that it was about to just blow up at any second, and he would start telling jokes. He would tell jokes to get people out of their position, to get people to let go, to get people to shift. He would tell jokes. He said that that didn't mean that he was embracing apartheid, but he laughed his way through much of it. He said he also cried his way through much of it. But he didn't cry so much that he didn't laugh. Laughter is so important because it connects us. Everything that says all is lost, all is wrong, is a lie. The only truth is that God is all that there is. Spirit is all that there is, and one of the attributes of Spirit is joy. When you awaken in the morning, let there be joy in your heart. When you go to sleep at night, let there be joy in your heart. And if there isn't, let go of whatever is keeping you from being in alignment with who you are. And I rarely use fear, but I'm going to use just a little bit of it. If you don't, you'll get sick. If you don't, you won't have enough of whatever it is, time, opportunity, money. If you don't, life will lose its colors. Music will not sound as wonderful. The people around you will not feel as dear. If you give in to the outer and let it rob you of your joy, you will not live the life that you were meant to live. So it is our job to look at what stops us from just being giggly, happy, silly, wonderful beings of light and love, happy beyond measure, fully in our joy. And then do something different. You know, once we're gone, we're going to forgive them. Let's forgive them now. Right? So we can have a great life between now and then. No matter what it was, it contributed to who we are today. Let's learn from it. Doesn't mean we become dumb Dora doormat and lay down and let people walk on us. It's that we learn from it and we move forward as the powerful being that we are. We are meant to be happy no matter what. If we are creating something that says, I can't be happy because of this, that's just our way of showing off. Wow, you want to see me be spiritual? I'll be happy no matter what. I'll be happy even in exile. I'll be happy during apartheid. I'll be happy even when those that I love have left. I'll be in my joy. I will be happy. I will be a being of joy because we showed up on planet Earth to make manifest the glory of God. That's what Marianne Williamson said. We showed up on planet Earth to go for it. We showed up on planet Earth to be in our joy. Abraham Hicks says that's the most important thing. The Dalai Lama says that's the most important thing. Desmond Tutu says that's the most important thing. Center for Spiritual Living has you say today is a happy day because that's the most important thing. And Barbara Waterhouse says that your ability to be joy-filled every moment of every day is the most important thing that you will ever do. Joy to the world. Merry Christmas.
So you got your joy orders, right? All right, fantastic. Wonderful. So who do we have here for the very first time? Never been to the center before? Would you raise your hand? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you're here this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. And didn't you have a third person with you? Yeah. They found their way upstairs, eh? Yeah. Fantastic. Good for you. Although I really enjoyed the da-da, da-da this morning. That made me laugh. That was great. We're so glad you're here. We have a gift for you on our Welcome Center. Thank you for being with us today. Yay, okay. Let's have our prosperity acceptors come forward. And I've got all these wonderful gifts that have come to us, mostly through the Postal Service or my computer. To bless today, take out what you're going to give and put it in your hands near your heart. And know with me that there is that presence and power that dwells in, through, and as all things. It's right here. It's in the midst of us, always. It even shows up as our money, that energy of flow in our lives. And we are master flowers in our lives. And we allow this to come to us and to move through us, and we bless it, and it multiplies, and life is grand and glorious. And I know that as we are blessed, the center is blessed, and all is well. So I invite us to say our relatively new affirmation together. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is. Everyone in the band has touched the basket and start playing. And if you have, by chance, and want to make a gift to the center with a credit card, you can go to the donation station right now and you'll still be blessed.
Blessings are flowing, the gift is unsealed, life is unfolding, love is revealed, with open heart and open hands, I give and receive in love. Blessings are flowing, the gift is unsealed, life is unfolding, love is revealed, with open heart and open hands, I give and receive in love. Blessings are flowing, the gift is unsealed, life is unfolding, love is revealed, with open heart and open hands, I give and receive in love. I give and receive in love.
Yes. And the blessings of these gifts are absolutely at the height of our awareness at this moment. We bless them for coming forward and supporting this community in such extraordinary ways. And we bless all those that support us online. We bless all those that see the value of this work that we do, no matter what, no matter where they are. And together we create this amazing energy, this amazing community of love and light that goes on and on, touching the world in extraordinary ways. That's because of you. Thank you. And so it is. Wonderful. You hear the rain?
Yes.
We have oatmeal today. It's a good reason to stay out of the rain. Let's call the kids.